Matt Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out Smackdowns, follow on IG+. It's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats. Join the Dark Order.
A lot has happened.
I just want to, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to say, I'm purposely starting with AEW because they don't suck. Okay?
Yeah, you're right. They're making the most of what they have.
I'm so fucking fed up right now. I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. It's you know, I understand, like, now it's too late, right? Because Vince is, other than camera shots, he's not gonna copy AEW. But how is it that their first year in and a pandemic that we've never had to deal with before, and they handled Dynamite right? It made a difference. Even just having 6 to 10 wrestlers, at that time you were allowed to have a gathering, I think, of 50, but 10 or 12 of the roster in the crowd, it made a difference. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
The camera shots were right. They didn't focus so much on the fact that there was an empty arena. You had fucking MJF and Sean Spears betting on matches. I mean, it was just great. And you know what else? They didn't show you bullshit matches from the past, although they don't have that many. You didn't fill it with interviews and promos. You stuck to matches. You stuck to storyline. You kept things moving. Then you go to Raw this week, or SmackDown, or fucking NXT that didn't have any matches, you know. And then you go to
awful.
And then you go to Raw, and all right, you fixed the camera shots where the interviews pretty much happened in the rampway. Smart move, AEW. And then you had a couple matches. But other than that,
doesn't make any sense.
It was all WrestleMania shit. Like, I have the network. If I want to watch WrestleMania shit, I'll go to the fucking network. I don't tune into a 3-hour Raw, and I get it. It's 3 hours, so you got to figure out something to do. You know, even the matches you fucking had, you had jobbers or people from NXT that you never fucking see. You know, where Aleister Black is fucking dominating in 30 seconds, although I appreciate
he's back to doing that. You know what I mean? It's like he's reverted back to that.
But I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. And then, instead of doing the right thing, bless you, and
thank you. Did I cover that up well enough?
You did, but I didn't even hear it. But fucking Christ, with Mania, how have we not postponed WrestleMania? I mean, the more I think about it, dude, it's, you know, even if it's too big for one night, so we're going to do Saturday and Sunday, it's still going to be now 2 nights of WrestleMania with no pyro. It's going to be 2 nights of wrestling without any crowd. They're
still trying to sell this shit, like, for real, as a pay-per-view, you know, because there's some places where you can still buy this as a pay-per-view. Could you fucking imagine the audacity?
The only good thing to come out of WrestleMania this year is the fucking T-shirt. I wasn't there.
Yeah, and I'm still mad about that because I would have been there. Like, my tradition is to buy a football jersey, and I've bought a football jersey at every WrestleMania I've been to with the WrestleMania logo on. And now, selfishly, I understand there's a global pandemic. Selfishly, I still want that fucking T-shirt.
I don't understand why we're not postponing.
I got a question for you.
We're going to make it 2 nights, and then what the fuck is a boneyard match?
Oh, okay.
Can I have a fucking explanation? Like, that didn't make things better. What the fuck is it? this is your kind of match. No, dickhead, Hell in the Cell's his kind of match, or a fucking casket match, or a graveyard match, a fucking boneyard. What is a boneyard match?
So
it's from Lion King.
Do they want to tiptoe around not saying buried alive?
Oh yeah, it's definitely they're trying to cover. So here's
I feel like it's a buried alive match.
Yeah.
here's the thing. It's either a buried alive match or like when Sting and Vampiro back in WCW in the year 2000, which is is that really what you want to copy?
Oh,
right now,
jeez.
guys? Is that what we're copying? But they did a graveyard match, and like it ended with I think Vampiro had like a flaming sword or something. And then Sting blocked it with his bat. This is all real. And then Sting got thrown into a grave. And for some reason, Charles Robinson, I think, was the referee, and he had to verify that yes, indeed, Sting was in the grave, and that ended the match. But then Sting came back later in the arena covered in dirt. I want to say that all happened.
I want to say you're right.
It sounds very familiar.
They should take a page out of Lucha Underground and do those kind of casket matches.
So here's the other thought. Oh, how about the Wrestling Society X with the exploding casket match? Oh man, a boneyard. Here's what I'm thinking. If they're not trying to cover up a buried alive match or a graveyard match where they're going to go to they're going to pull up to like the Greenwich graveyard at like 1 o'clock in the morning and film a goofy match with some, bullshit fog and spooky spider webs and shit. I don't know. Maybe they'll do that. Or a boneyard could be like a car lot with a bunch of like shelled out cars. Just like
that Cena Eddie Guerrero match?
Yes. So like stripped cars that were all stripped down like in a junkyard and then put like an iron circle match where they're surrounded by junked out cars. And then it's the American Badass pulls up on the chopper, and it's American Badass Undertaker.
All the cars should be hearses, though.
Ooh,
That'd be
different.
I'd dig that.
It would be something.
Are we seriously bringing back the American Badass?
I think we
God.
are. Did you see on SmackDown?
This fucking coronavirus is fucking everything up.
It all started with The Fiend losing to Goldberg, and then the world went to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right around that time, everything just went downhill.
It was the seal of the apocalypse.
Coincidence? I think not.
Coincidence that happened in Saudi Arabia. It's all coming together. It's a conspiracy. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, at least like I'm giving you something. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I feel like this particular matchup, Undertaker and AJ Styles, is going to be a kind of out of the box like goofball experiment. The only thing I can think of to compare it to would be like a Lucha Underground sketch or like WCW in the year 2000 when they did the graveyard match. Something kind of weird in the vein of like when Randy Orton fought in the haunted house against Bray Wyatt and then
Or even the stuff that Impact does with like Rosemary and
Yep, yeah, we can go in that direction. We can go in that direction.
This is the first time ever in history I am not excited about WrestleMania.
Yeah, oh no, I couldn't give a shit now from actively having a physical ticket to WrestleMania to not giving a shit in the course of like 2 weeks.
So did you get a refund, dude?
Supposedly the refund is coming within the next 30 days. So they have 70,000 of them to process. So they've got
that might be a pop minute.
Right, exactly what I'm thinking. So yeah.
I mean, not blaming them, but
no, it's
a lot
what it is.
Process.
It is what it is. But
no, but Steve, you're right. It's fucking madness, and they should just postpone it.
I
agree,
if you
man.
can't put on the show to its fullest, then
I mean, they postponed Blood and Guts, right?
That's what I'm saying. They're doing it right. I get it, but I don't get it. To me, this is just, I don't have the same feeling that I should.
Like last year.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there last year, but still, it's just so different now.
They can call it WrestleMania. They can call it whatever they want. It's not WrestleMania. It's just objectively not.
This is the first Tape Mania, right?
Yeah. Taped in advance, taped in secret. Guys are living at the hotel.
And isn't it, I believe, Rey Mysterio and Dana Brooke are now pulled in quarantine, so it sounds like they got something.
they're either they have it or they suspect they have it, so they've voluntarily quarantined. Which please
Could
do
be
that.
still waiting on results.
Right. So Rey Mysterio's out, and the U.S. title 4-way, so that got changed to a Raw tag team title match, and then
Came out of nowhere.
yeah, and then the 6-way became a 5-way, unless they decide to add somebody else. Who fucking knows? Add another person that's not going to win the match, like Natty Neidhart or some shit like that.
Don't throw Natty in there just for.
You know what though? At least Natty can wrestle.
Yeah.
She can't still.
I mean,
she still can't cut a promo worth of fuck, but she can
We're
wrestle.
we're not missing much by losing Dana Brooke from that.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, Tamina's going to stink it up anyway.
Right, but even
Carmella. What about Carmella?
Yeah, that's true.
But didn't she have a shot like a month ago?
And then she didn't win.
What about Nia Jax? She's cleared, isn't she?
I think so. Maybe she could be a surprise entrant.
I gotta be honest, I haven't missed her at all.
But you know what though? The sad part is that like, fucking Christ, you got, dude. This fucking
He's so
WrestleMania
mad.
has Edge
He's
versus
so
Orton,
mad.
and I don't care. That's a problem. That's a
That's a big
problem.
problem.
How are you gonna have that match, Edge's return match, after 9 fucking years without a crowd? Cancel the fucking show.
Yeah. And not only that epic Drew McIntyre Rumble win. And it's not now.
Yeah, it takes away from him. I mean,
It doesn't matter.
Think about Rhea Ripley. First time ever women's
Yeah.
NXT titles being defended at WrestleMania, and there's nobody there to see it.
Yep.
Come on. I don't know how they're going to be able to be creative and make this enjoyable. I don't see it. And I hope I'm wrong. I mean, listen, we're obviously going to watch because we're fans of wrestling, but it's so frustrating.
Now I want to watch more out of curiosity than anything else.
Maybe that's what they're going for. People, they're like, oh well, maybe we can get
Just to see what they actually do.
They
Right,
know
some
the fans are going to
outside
tune in
people,
regardless. I mean,
Right. WrestleMania sells itself.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people, a lot less will tune in this year than they usually would. Maybe because it's not
stupid
live. Yeah, and it's like honestly, these shows in front of no audience, it's a burden. Like it's just, first of all, it's not well paced. Like you said, Steve, they put these matches in that don't matter. At least this week they kind of took my thought of doing a theme. So they were like, oh, Brock Lesnar, here's some Brock Lesnar shit. So it kind of made sense. But again, when you're doing a live program that is 2 hours or 3 hours long, the expectation is new content. Even understanding the situation, you should still be able to produce something. Listen, a one-on-one match with a referee is 3 people, well under the 10-person threshold. That's all you need. You just need people, and this is the problem. They've taught people how to work this WWE style that can only be done through it being produced by someone backstage and the referee having an earpiece and calling things out and calling times out, and it's all very precise. They've lost the artistry, the creativity, the uniqueness of wrestling is that it's a sport, but in the same respect, it's a work of art, or much like a dance or a theater piece where you can improvise and you can make something special. And they could give people the opportunity, go out there and wrestle an Iron Man match and make it special. What the fuck? Like, you just if you put 2 guys out there that really knew how to work, they could make it work. They did that with Omega and Pac, right? Was that wasn't in the empty arena though? The 1 hour Iron Man match, AEW.
Yeah, that was in
front of a crowd. Yeah,
and that's the amazing thing is that AEW, being so new, have somehow figured out how to work with this. Yet WWE has been around a long ass time.
Well, because they've done their program the same way for fucking 30 years or whatever. They don't deviate, or they're afraid to deviate from this pattern here. So that's That's the downside. Is they've done it the same way for so long they forgot how to improvise.
Yeah.
But
I think this week's Raw was better than last week's Raw.
Well, yeah, because that showing the entirety of the Royal Rumble match
killed it.
Oh my God, that's death. That's awful.
Raw sucked.
I'm trying to be positive.
I'm usually the one that's positive.
He's positive that Raw sucked.
There you go.
It positively sucked.
Positively sucked. Yeah. But AEW...
Positively sucking like positively Page.
Positively Canyon, yes, exactly. We were all thinking the
Who's
same
better
thing.
than Canyon?
No, I miss that fucking guy. He would be still if he was still involved in the wrestling business. Imagine what he could do in like an NXT or an AEW, working with younger guys. It's too bad, but AEW did a very good job on Wednesday night of making it feel like a television program, and like they acknowledged what was going on in the world. They acknowledged the fact that there's.
It was a good promo at the beginning with Cody.
Yeah.
And it was different. WWE wouldn't do that because it's too different. It was like watching a piece of theater. It was like a stage play. The way it was lit, the spotlights and all that, and then kind of guys coming out and hitting their cues and standing in different spots. It was all very theater.
Even
but it was well done.
Yeah, even Sammy Guerrero singing
oh my God,
Jericho's theme, and the chairman has arrived. Oh shit. We're just talking about how much WWE sucks right now and how AEW absolutely killed it.
Yes.
Truer words have not been spoken, my friends.
You missed Steve. I don't think he took a breath for the first 10 minutes of the
Steve
show.
had an aneurysm.
Yeah. God. He let it all
No,
out.
but it was.
You would have agreed with every fucking word I said, my friend.
It was necessary, completely necessary.
Can't say it wasn't just.
That's amazing. It's about time you spit some knowledge.
This is just insane. How do you feel? Just to kind of get you caught up in the mix. How do you feel about the fact that WrestleMania is still happening?
I mean, it's WrestleMania, so I have to see it. I want to see it, but I just know it's not going to be good.
That's exactly what we were saying.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to watch it, but we're not necessarily going to like it.
Kind of out of a glutton for punishment.
It's going to be like a car crash where you can't look away, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Like we're all on the highway like, yeah, that's interesting. We probably shouldn't be looking at it and not making more car accidents, but hey.
Yeah.
Hey, those Russian dash cams are amazing. I don't know what you're talking about.
See, the biggest thing, like I was saying before, AEW did everything right with Dynamite. They haven't even been a show for a year. Yeah. And it just shows you how they did it right. Everything from that promo in the beginning to the fact that they had the roster, some of the roster in the crowd, the side betting with MJF and Sean Spears, which was great. Yeah. Jake Roberts sitting there with Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, did you watch the Lance Archer promo where he beat up a bunch of juggalos?
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
their package, the actual video package was good. The only thing, and it's not AEW's fault, because I thought the reveal of Brody Lee was fantastic, and I thought the Matt Hardy at the end was great. But it does take away when the crowd's not there, man. I mean,
Hardy being in the crowd would have been so much better than him just kind of there.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. I think it's tough now because with everything that's going through this big transition,
definitely,
people still have jobs. I think that's what we got to remember, and this is their job, right? So they're on TV, they're still performing, they still got to do what they got to do, and even though we don't have crowds, we can't just stop working.
No, I get that, but something like that, I just feel like it might have even been better just to hold off and not do the Matt Hardy thing until, the problem is that unfortunately we don't know when we're going to be able to have a crowd again.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem was they were going forward with the assumption that they would be able to do War Games, their blood and guts match, and in order to do that, see, a couple things happened. Nick Jackson got written off because his wife is expecting a baby. Now, is that not the most terrifying thing, to have a goddamn global pandemic going on, and then your wife is pregnant and expecting a baby right in the middle of it, and you have to go to a hospital with all of these goddamn sick people to have a baby, and then bring a child into this world where thousands of people are dying every day? Welcome to the world, kid. It's yours. Like, fuck. So anyway, so they had to write Nick off because his wife's having a baby, and they had to introduce a partner for the Elite, and then they were going to have blood and guts this week. And at one point when they were filming, they had to they were saying, well, as they were filming, we are doing blood and guts next week. We have to introduce Matt Hardy as the partner. Boom. After that taping was already done, they got word from somebody. So listen, this fucking War Game shit ain't gonna work. It's a bad idea to do it. First of all, it's a bad idea to do it with no crowd. Second of all, as Chris Jericho said online, it's a 5 versus 5 match, and then you've got a referee and a bunch of camera guys. You're already over your 10-person limit, so who fucking knows? So they're going to push that back to probably the first time they can have a crowd. Imagine the first time they can have a live crowd again on a Wednesday night, and they're doing War Games. The place is going to lose their mind.
Be a great time to have a crowd. They go banana.
Best time to have a crowd. Yeah, the very first show that they have back and they do War Games, the roof is going to blow off the place. So interestingly enough, AEW was just shy of 1 million viewers this week. Whereas,
would anybody pick NXT over AEW with the clip show?
Actually, like 500-something thousand people watched NXT, which is staggering. Yeah. It's a fucking clip show. You've already seen this shit. Like, come on. Or maybe it was all new stuff, but still, it was, if you were watching the program, you already should have known all this stuff.
Right, yeah. I knew all those storylines already, so I had not as much of an interest.
Yeah, you didn't need this refresher thing. Anyway.
For not having a crowd, it kept my interest in AEW. I didn't want to change channels at all, ever, but NXT is just garbage right now, so...
Yeah, so to combat that, NXT is going to have their takeover matches air on Wednesday nights for like the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that should bring some eyes to NXT. They might actually contend for the ratings if they're going to do their big matches on live TV. But at the same time, AEW is doing a better presentation of the empty arena stuff. So some people might stick around on AEW, even though it would be quote unquote a smaller show. They might watch it because it's consistently better in quality than what honestly it looks like playing a game in No Mercy, like on the N64.
Yeah.
The WWE stuff. It just looks like a video game with like an empty arena. Like you're creating a wrestler or something, and you like created the arena, but you didn't put the seats in. You just sent them out to
No Mercy was the shit. That was the best game ever.
Oh, No Mercy was great. Well, I like
No Mercy. It was the first game that had a ladder match, right?
Yeah, as far as I remember.
And they had the Smackdown Mall.
You could break that. You could break the announce table. You could go to the back.
Yeah, Boiler Room.
That was a fucking awesome game.
Yeah, that was a great game.
That one, WrestleMania 2000. I was big on the World Tour, which was the first. World Tour was the first one, so it was a little rough. But then Revenge, Revenge, and then
Steve, I'd take you on any day in No Mercy, any day.
Oh, you don't. Well, listen, probably now. Yeah, back then, you wouldn't have stood a chance. I can say that with the utmost confidence.
Wow.
Yeah, I could actually probably say that about any wrestling game, including the horrible one that's out right now.
Except for No Mercy. So
although they have gotten a lot better because they have fixed a lot of the glitches. But
that's good.
Well, they look better. They still play like shit.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Pain was the last WWE game I really played.
PS2, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's when you could
Rock
start
on the
off
cover.
Yeah, you could do your finisher as soon as the match started.
Here Comes the Pain was good.
Yeah. And then, so, I don't know if you heard this a couple weeks ago. Well, it was right before Revolution. Cody kind of announced but didn't announce. He said that Kenny Omega will have more information about the AEW video game. However,
he's very big in the production of that video game.
Yeah. Kenny Omega's got a big hand in that. So Cody mentioned there is a certain engine that the fans want to use, and it's the same engine that was used. It was the AKI engine, the Nintendo 64 one for World Tour Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, and No Mercy. So
Thank God.
Yeah. So they're saying the most important thing to them is they have to secure, before they can make an announcement about the game, they want to be able to secure the license to use that engine to build the game. And once
that
they
thing's
can
ancient
do that,
though by now.
it is, but it's so I imagine they would have to, they'd have to upgrade it for because the N64 was a single stick.
It was a 64-bit console, but
Can I just say something? With everything you just said, you know what I just heard?
What?
We're a long time away from the release of this fucking video game.
It's very possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're going to see everything they've done. So just by seeing what they've done so far with AEW, the way that they respond to the criticism that people have of their show, the changes that they make, the quality of the shows, the quality of the pay-per-views, the quality of these
and how they show
shows.
They also show Triple H how to hold the camera, that type of thing.
Yes, absolutely. But so take a look at all that and you go, okay, even if it takes a little while, the video game is going to be really good because they took their time to do it the right way. So it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be amazing.
That's
I can't wait.
That's
it's going to be awesome.
If
And
they
I definitely
announce that
I
they
got
have-
money on that, Steve. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Oh, whenever they come
Oh,
out.
dude, we could do that on the day it
Yeah.
comes out. I don't need much time to get acclimated, my friend. Don't you worry.
A lot of shit
We'll
talking
live
from
stream
the
it
old
on
man.
the
Oh,
YouTube.
you haven't heard shit talking
yeah, we
yet,
can
my
live
friend. Oh, buddy, you haven't heard shit talking yet. Don't
That's going to
worry.
be live on the War Report, the first 5 minutes of the show.
5 minutes. I don't need
Steve
that
getting
long.
his ass whooped.
5 minutes.
Wow.
5 minutes if it's a fucking stipulation match, just because I like to prolong those, because,
You can create any stipulation you want. You're still garbage.
Damn.
Dude, I'm so confident. You
Shit.
can pick whatever dude you want on the roster, and you can pick any chick on the roster that you want me to be, and I'll still beat your ass.
Remember you said that live. Okay?
Live on the air.
I'm going to go buy the THQ company that made the Aki company just to beat that ass.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is going to be fabulous. I'm
That's going to be a
embarrass
fucking
you.
entertaining show.
You're going to be so embarrassed. That's horrible. Horrible.
So,
Yeah,
Kat brought this up to me. Another problem with the Raw and SmackDown is that you can verbally hear them calling spots in the ring because there's no crowd.
that shit is awesome.
I still think the funniest thing is the footage that leaked when they're in the tag team match with the women. And they just stopped, and they're just leaning up on the ring post, fucking talking about what they're going to do. And I'm like, well, all right. But listen.
they're chilling. They're like, all right, and we're coming back in 9. So you guys want to get a sandwich or what? What's up?
Anyone got to take a piss? Now's the time. You got a few minutes. Oh, man. It's just, but I will say, even some of the promos are great. It's just, the no crowd. It takes away from it. Edge just cut a great promo. Randy Orton was probably the best part of Raw. That promo was great, and it shows you how good he is because he can be that good with no crowd.
Rollins promo is good too.
Yeah, his voice just bothers me. But yeah, it was
If his voice bothers you, it's downhill from there.
I don't think it's just his voice; it's his face.
Yeah, he's not a good. That's the thing. He's so unlikable.
Yeah.
It's got this chainsaw voice.
I will say this too. I don't know if this is going to be a thing, but they probably do since Vince isn't high on either of them apparently. But I do like Cedric and Ricochet as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 people that they got buried.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He put them
They're
together.
gonna bring back the buried alive man.
See, now
Yeah, they're gonna
I
be in the
think
vault.
And they
Backyard
both
match.
get buried.
I think what you do now is you keep them together. You have MVP manage them, and then they keep talking about MVP is gonna start some faction. Do it with them, and then I don't know who else, but
that's a great idea, because then that, MVP gets the mic time, and
Right.
because they're not good at it, so
right, and it turns both Cedric and Ricochet heel, which
That's
a
true.
heel Ricochet might be interesting. So there's some things you could do, and it gives MVP something to do.
That's true. That's a good call.
It's not a bit, that's a good idea, man.
I'm very impressed with the Angel Garza and Andrade. I
Yes.
think that would be
That's a
pretty
solid
sick.
team. They should keep them
Those
together.
two are. This guy Angel Garza is the fucking truth, man.
He's good.
Yeah, that guy's gonna be a star.
And he's hilarious. I mean, he's just, when they plant the girl, he's going to give him a kiss in the crowd.
And the pants thing, it's great. The whole thing is awesome.
He wrestles half the match with his pants on, and then the other half with his pants off.
It's like Kurt Angle when he takes the strap down. You know he means business when he takes his pants off.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
ready to go.
That's fucking fantastic.
So, I mean, that was
Wrestling is
good.
weird.
It is.
I don't know.
What about the Street Profits on commentary? That shit was brutally bad.
Yeah, what up, fam? What up, fam? That's all I kept
And they're
hearing.
like, ooh, oh, ooh.
They had so much better shit in NXT.
I think they were
They were
trying.
promos the whole fucking time. Well, what the hell was that? Sound effect. They were doing ad libs.
Yeah,
like it's a fucking rap song.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I thought the commentary was horrible. But then I did like their match. I like the two of them. So,
Yeah.
the match was all right, but it's just, my problem is there weren't enough matches. I didn't need, listen, Charlotte, Asuka was an awesome match. Again, I didn't need to see it. If I wanted to see it, I'd go to the fucking network and watch it.
The triple threat,
Right.
great triple threat. But once again, if you wanted to watch it, go on the network.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just, either that or you should have done a 2-hour Raw instead of, or do an hour Raw.
Yeah.
Do an hour Raw
It'd be a
until,
lot less painful.
holy shit. I mean, this one
Condense
was,
all that and then call it something else. Raw flashback.
I don't know. Raw just, to me, I mean, it had the potential. It was definitely, I agree with Ryan, it was definitely better than the week before. But, and then NXT. I mean, really? Like,
It had nothing.
I don't even know what to say.
I normally can't shit on NXT at all, but they didn't have any matches.
It was just,
And it was all shit storylines that we already are aware.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This fucking virus is fucking everything up. It really is.
But
At least we did get
I've
the
been
treat
over
of.
that 2 weeks ago.
At least we did have the treat of Asuka on commentary last week.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. And Lawler ad-libbing with her, it was hysterical too.
It was.
What do you guys think about the rumor that Vince is kind of stepping away? Do you think that's why it's so bad?
No, I think
I
honestly, and I hate to say it because I love Vince, but I think he's still too involved, and that's the problem. Like, there was even a synopsis of Matt Hardy's. He was on Jericho's podcast, and one of the things he had said was, if Triple H was truly running WWE, he probably would have stayed. So,
yeah,
I think Vince is still too much hands-on. I think, and that's the problem. He was, with Matt Hardy in particular, and this is not news. I mean, we all know this. He wants creative control. He wants to be able to do his broken character, and he has ideas, and he wants to do them. And Vince is just, Vince is Vince, and he's
Vince didn't get it really.
Right. Vince didn't get it.
When he said he didn't get it, that was it. As
Right.
soon as he doesn't get it, even though, as he said, the crowd got it, he didn't. But that was it. It's amazing to me that he can look at the crowd reacting to this character, and doing delete. He didn't even do. Matt Hardy didn't encourage the fans to say delete. The fans started doing it on their own.
Yeah.
They did it at WrestleMania when they were the surprise entrance with the Hardy music. The crowd started doing delete. So then he had to start doing it because the crowd was doing it.
But then, you know,
Fucking Maxwell does it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that was it. You know what I mean? Like that was the extent of it. So there was a ceiling to where that Matt Hardy, and then the other depressing thing was when he heard that when Vince McMahon heard Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy laugh, and that got that's good shit, pal. And then that became the gimmick, was just them laughing like a bunch of goofs.
Which was funny.
I did like that team, though.
No, it was a good team, but like they could have done more than just laughing at each other. Like that's the problem. It was just Vince decided that the laugh thing was over, so that was all they did.
Right.
That would be like if all Edge and Christian did was play the kazoo. You know,
what about the Exalted? What Brody Lee kind of doing an homage to Sister Abigail before doing his move?
Oh yeah, and then he said in the promo about Christopher Daniels, said, "You're not the first old man to doubt me," or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. But you damn sure will be the last, or something like that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, gee, and yeah, I'm not jazzed about the outfit. The robe is good. The rest of the outfit is whatever. But listen, I'm happy he's
getting the respect he deserves.
He's going to have a good first match with Christopher Daniels. That'll be really good. And there's opportunity there for him to have good matches with a lot of other guys and mix it up.
And at least he's not playing with a robotic spider.
You had to bring it back up, didn't you?
Yes.
I guarantee if they put him with Moxley, like it would be much better than their WWE feud.
Yeah, their match would be much better without the restrictions of having to work within the WWE style. Most certainly.
I agree.
We should maybe talk about the possibly impending debut of the Revival.
Oh yes, because Scott Dawson, I think, revealed the other day on Twitter.
It was a tweet.
He's officially not in WWE anymore.
He says that he's free, so it sounds like
the tweet was something like, "I may be broke, I may not be getting paid, but I'm free." And then if you continue reading, it says Dawson's still got a month, and then his contract is officially up. So my guess is within the next 30 to 40 days, you're probably going to see the Revival in AEW. I mean, they have friends there. We know this. So one could only assume that's the direction they're going to go.
If they've actually had their contracts expire and they're not, messing around for attention to try and get a better deal and all that, if they're actually going to AEW, that's pretty big.
I also would like to see at least one match for them in the NWA. I just think it would be entertaining for them.
Oh, for sure. I think they would. That would be fun to see. That.
Just the interaction between. Well, no, never mind. Jim Cornette's not.
Yeah, Cornette's not there anymore.
Forgot about Cornette.
All right, so check it out. I got one for the panel. There have been things online. People are bitching that AEW is bringing in too many WWE guys.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? I know there was a response from Cody, I believe, but I didn't read it, or Jericho. I didn't read it, so I'm not exactly sure, but I did hear that that's going around. What do you guys think?
It's like a yes and no. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think they're doing them right though.
Yeah.
Right.
That helps. That certainly helps it.
Because if we went by the old, not that Impact does this now, but TNA back in the day, no matter who it was, whether it was Test or Bobby Lashley when nobody gave a shit about Bobby Lashley, or any guy that WWE threw away or released for whatever reason, as soon as they came into TNA, they were a big deal. They were a main eventer. They were in a title feud like right away. And it was so transparent that it was just, oh, hey, this is a former WWE talent. We're using him and putting him in the main event. Look at how cool we are by putting this guy in the...
Right.
And really, that shit backfired so hard on them.
You're right, though. That's the difference. AEW's not doing that.
Like, Jake Hager is not the world champion. You know what I mean? Chris
Yeah.
Jericho was, and I understand that, but he's different because to me,
He's Jericho.
He worked for WCW for a very long time. He worked in Mexico. He worked for the WWF and WWE for a very long time as well. But he was a true journeyman. He worked
in
the
New
WCW,
Japan for a while.
New Japan,
Mexico, ECW.
Yeah, Mexico, and even New Japan in Mexico when he was younger, and then went back to New Japan as an older guy in his 40s. It's so he's a different status than just like, oh, Jinder Mahal's contract is up. AEW signs Jinder Mahal, and now he, is the world champion or some bullshit. Like they're not going that route.
He owns all the belts like Kurt Angle did in TNA for that month.
Yeah, but if you look at it, even like Sean Spears isn't
right.
You got
it's really Moxley,
and for Moxley, but they built up to that.
Right, Moxley wasn't like he didn't debut and then they threw him right in the world title.
Exactly.
The point is to build the business and to build the brand, right?
Right.
And we're looking at stars for a long time. We're looking at the long-term goals here. And we've all said it, but we're building we're building these characters so that people can get behind them or get against them. So that way down the line we can have all of these dream matches that we wanted, or better creative, or all of these things. And I think Vince said it almost earlier today. He said, the point of what AEW is doing really well is that they're listening to the fans, and they're not making these repeated mistakes that Vince and WWE has been doing for the last, 5 to 10 years.
Truth.
And we're all over it. We need the product that we want. We want to see good matches. We want to actually see matches and not replays. And then we want to see these characters come into their own and also have some say in it, which I think is the point of why we're watching TV right now.
And you can tell, like, that's why a guy like Ricochet doesn't work within the WWE system. He can wrestle really well, but they insist on you have to read the script and memorize it.
Right. When they handled it much better in NXT, at least.
Right. Here's the thing. There's for some reason, they're hesitant for guys to have managers. Back in the 70s and 80s, fucking everybody had a manager. Jimmy Hart had 30 guys. Bobby Heenan had 30 guys. Percy, the Heenan family, whatever, Jimmy Hart had a name for his.
Fuji had several guys, and Slick had a few guys,
Right, so everybody had a stable of guys, and the guys that couldn't talk got managers. Brock Lesnar is not a good promo, so he's had Paul Heyman for the last 20 years of his career do the talking for him. So why, if your top guy, your world champion for the last 5 or 6 years running, Brock Lesnar, why if he gets a manager, can these other guys not get managers? Why can't Ricochet have somebody talk for him?
Well, and that's why, like, in my theory case, MVP would be perfect. Because one thing that was MVP was phenomenal was being on the microphone.
Yeah.
Think about how much better Andrade got when they put him with Zelina Vega.
Well, no brainer. And she's very good on the mic as well. So, that was a match made in heaven. But Vince is right. For whatever reason, they're so against doing managers now. And I don't really understand it, because managers always just played a pivotal role in so many situations. I mean,
I even like the Zeb Coulter thing they had a few years ago.
Oh, it was great. He was great. I don't know.
It got over?
Yeah. You would think people still remember that We the People thing, man.
That they decided to break it up, like always.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, at least there was crowds.
Yeah.
Then that's the other thing. Like, you even think about, like, the smallest WrestleMania crowd, which was probably like, where was it? Was it WrestleMania 7 in Indiana? Was it the LA Sports Arena where they moved?
Well, they moved it because of the threats to Sergeant Slaughter, I think.
Right. Yeah, they moved to
wasn't it because they weren't selling tickets?
Yes, exactly. And then they
You know what? Not for nothing. If they were going to be hell bent on making sure that Mania 100% goes, they should have taken the deal and gone to Saudi Arabia. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia apparently has been cut off from WWE. Why? Anyone know?
They can't watch the network. I don't know why. Who knows?
I saw that was kind of interesting. But I'm almost thinking, they should have taken that deal. They offered $75 million to host WrestleMania.
The lowest.
They should have done it. At least we would have had amazing pyro.
But
and you would have had one night.
What if you made that agreement and then you determined that everybody had to if they flew. If
they couldn't come back.
America, right? They couldn't come back.
Oh, that's true.
When they came back, they'd have to isolate everybody who went there.
A lot of them don't want to travel now at all.
Right?
Fuck no, I know.
You can't blame them.
Go to the store. I had to go.
Shit.
I bought a new toaster today, and I was creeped out going into Walmart to buy a fucking toaster. It's real creepy when the people stocking the shelves at Walmart are wearing masks.
For $10 million, I could be quarantined for 2 weeks. It's okay.
Right, but then I guess the contingency is what do you do with Raw? If everybody performed,
Brock's being in Canada.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that's a thing or not.
He was there on Monday, but I guess there's a thing. So I don't know too much about what Canada is doing, but supposedly Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, which fuck that guy. But anyway, it's a whole other conversation.
I agree with that.
Thank you, Ryan. We're the only two that are share the Justin Trudeau meme.
I was thinking as soon as you said Justin Trudeau, I'm like, man, fuck that guy.
But anyway, apparently Canada might issue some sort of decree that there's a certain time period or date cutoff where you cannot fly back until the Canadian government says you can fly back. So it could be something where, end of March or April 1st, whatever it is, if you do not return to Canada by April 1st, you are not allowed to fly back into Canada until April 20th or April 30th or something like that.
They haven't cut off driving, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that's a long journey, but I
don't know what Brock Lesnar feels for that either. There's so much up in the air now.
I mean, they could just pay him to stay in Florida for a bit.
But I guess if they taped it tonight, it doesn't matter because then he can just fly home.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, even if Drew does win, it's not nearly as special as it could have been.
No.
So this is I gotta ask because now I'm thinking about it, and tell me if I'm off base here. But if it's all being pre-taped, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's being taped as we speak.
Could be.
Possibly.
Right.
With the phenomenal technology that's out there nowadays, how come I have a feeling we're going to hear the rumble of a crowd? We're going to see pyro. they're going to...
I think we're going to get pyro.
Just going to go...
I feel like they're gonna superimpose, they're gonna.
They'll pump in the Goldberg chants.
If they pipe in Goldberg chants,
well, he's not gonna get any chance anyway.
I want announcer Vince doing the Goldberg.
Unbelievable! What a maneuver!
The big bright blue sports jacket.
Yeah, in the bottom right hand corner of the screen doing the Goldberg.
This sucks.
It's such a bad. I hate thinking about this whole situation. Just even on a global scale, it's such a bummer that it's affecting everybody in the world in different ways. There are millions of people who couldn't give a shit about WrestleMania, but this is a specific thing that we care about. But then there's kids who are 16, 17 years old. They don't get to play baseball this year. They don't get to go to their prom. They'll miss out on graduation. People in college will miss out on their college graduation, or it's going to be postponed until the winter. And then who gives a fuck? It's a winter graduation, and you already graduated 6 months.
Yeah.
It affects people in different
levels,
different generations and different ages of people in different ways. We all care about WrestleMania, but then there's some kid who doesn't give a shit about WrestleMania in Nebraska somewhere, and he's bummed about his prom being canceled. So it's just it sucks. And then there's,
that boy trying to get laid.
Or imagine what if you had a wedding coming up? Holy shit! Yeah. If your wedding was scheduled for sometime in April 3rd or
I saw
March
some
28th
post saying that someone's wedding got shut down because they tried to ignore it.
Well, I saw Steve's where the people just had the fucking wedding, and there was like
wasn't that in like
cars there.
Ramapo or something?
It was in Muncie.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's crazy. But they got
Was
shit.
it like
down.
100 people or some shit?
It was more than that.
Jesus, that's ridiculous.
People don't
Yeah.
take it seriously, and then it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
They never will.
And that's the thing. Like this, it is a serious situation. Like you could,
Yeah, we're not undermining it. We're just saying,
right?
Oh, I agree. It's
And
serious,
again, but it's like we all said. Somehow AEW has figured out how to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
With this situation.
And when it came to their pay-per-view type of event, they canceled it or postponed it.
Right.
Which
Definitely.
and I get it. It's tough to postpone it and do it at a later date for WWE because they have their calendar set. It's like, how are you going to do WrestleMania, let's say, in the summertime? Let's say they're going to be able to by then. Do it in the summertime along with SummerSlam. Like, how does that work? You would have to ultimately
Day 1
eliminate...
WrestleMania, Day 2 SummerSlam.
But I think there were just... I don't know, man. I guess it's also how do they now have to figure out how to drag storylines out that much further.
Right,
There's a lot that goes into it, and I get it, but there's got to be a better solution than what I'm afraid we're going to see. And listen, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't see how.
Yeah, it just feels like it's going to be a very weird WrestleMania. And WWE released the trailer for the Big Show. It's a sitcom that's going to be on Netflix starting next week.
And it's about him being a retired WWE superstar.
Right.
I'm so excited.
And he's just got like kids. So it's going to be like Home Improvement.
Or
Big Show.
Hogan Knows Best.
Yes, but like...
I mean, look at Big Show.
Like
He was like... remember when The Rock first hosted SNL?
Yeah.
It's like the dark horse, like he was like... Big Show was so entertaining during that whole thing.
Captain Insano was great.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Wasn't it Foley, Rock, and Big Show?
Yes,
And Triple H, the Fatal 4-Way.
Triple H had to stick his big fucking nose in that business too. You know what I mean? He had to be there on Saturday Night Live.
But then they all sang "Are You Lonesome Tonight" together. I mean, that was...
No, that was fantastic. It was a great appearance for everybody. Even Vince. Vince got his.
Oh yeah,
his
Vince
time
was
to
on
shine
that too
at the beginning. On a sadder note, did you guys watch the first episode of Dark Side of the Ring? It's free on YouTube. The Chris Benoit story.
I missed it.
It was very good.
So
I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch it.
Hours 1 and 2 will be shown tonight on the Vice channel. If you get, I don't even know if I get Vice, but anyway, last week they released the first episode because they decided to make it 2 parts. They released the first episode free on YouTube, so you can go now. Anybody that wants to watch it can go on YouTube and check out the first half. It starts. It's the beginning of the career. So it starts at the beginning of Chris Benoit's career and the beginning of Nancy's career in wrestling, and it shows how they developed individually as performers, how they met with the Kevin Sullivan angle, how they stayed together through all this and whatever, and then the last couple things they do are Eddie's death, and then the day of the murders. And that's the end of the episode. The next episode they show a little snippet for is the fallout from it. So how people reacted to the news of what happened as it became clear that it was a murder-suicide situation. They have David Benoit, Chris Benoit's older son, and like you just feel so bad for him.
It looks so much like Chris.
He looks like Chris.
Spitting image, yeah.
You can tell that this really fucked that kid up. Like to this day, and I understand why it would, but you just look at
I don't know how it wouldn't.
This kid had, maybe he could have wrestled at one point, but like,
man, I mean, imagine him and Pillman Jr. together.
Yeah. Oh man, that would have been.
I apparently get Vice.
Nice. So you can check. You can probably watch both parts tonight.
Was there something else, like a different show that was focused on Benoit, like the autopsy, like Cat?
Yeah. Yes. Reels.
Very bad things to say about that. Cat was not happy, and
Yeah. Oh no, she's very anal about this.
Cat and I still don't believe Benoit did it, but that's just
Right.
That's
Black
neither here nor there.
helicopters.
That's neither here nor there.
Conspiracy theories.
So the Laps fan did a great
All right, set to
retrospective
record.
on that back, I want to say a year ago. 12-hour podcast just on that.
Wow.
I want to at least 12.
Jesus. The whole thing is just still to this day is a tragedy, and still to this day you feel like WWE can't really go as far as they could go in terms of their presentation. It's still very PG, despite some adult stuff showing up. Like, they don't mention, not that you would, but you can't mention Chris Benoit. There's a certain period of time that you just can't talk about a lot because he was involved in so much stuff.
It almost single-handedly crippled the entire wrestling industry, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And then this, fucking 10 years later, 13 years later, we could have a virus potentially, kill an industry. Indie wrestling took a big hit with WrestleMania being canceled, and then WrestleCon and all the other conventions being canceled, and all the live shows being canceled. A fair number of independent promotions are going to be running less shows, or they could be going out of business entirely. It's pretty bad, man.
At least they got the Marriott to do the right thing.
Oh yeah, the Marriott was trying to charge $100,000 and something to WrestleCon.
Apparently, big help to Chris Jericho on that.
Yep, yeah, Chris Jericho kind of publicized it more, and which was good because I think here's what it was. It was a local, like the Tampa Marriott person wanting that money, and then Tampa or Marriott corporate stepped in and was like, "Listen, guys, this is bad. This is all around bad publicity. We're going to lose money from this anyway, but bad press is just going to compound a depression that we're already in." So somebody put the kibosh on it from higher up.
Well, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So yeah, I mean tonight
That was my cousin, Jimmy Marriott.
he wanted the commission. I get it. Like, I mean, that's a big commission.
You got to get your monies in.
That's right.
All right. Well, we made it to the top of the hour.
We did. We found enough stuff to talk about. AEW Dark has an episode out. NWA has been releasing their pay-per-views for free. Last week it was the NWA 70th. This week it's I forget. Maybe it might be the Crockett Cup. I forget what it is, but whatever they're live.
Well, they postponed the Crockett Cup, I think.
Yes, they postponed the Crockett, but I mean like last year's, whichever. Oh, the event that they have tonight on YouTube for NWA was the one where David Arquette was in a hair match with Josephus and Tim Storm. So anyway, that's what they're showing. AEW has a bunch of independent guys doing some dark matches for them on AEW Dark. This is the definition of a dark match too, because there's it's another empty arena. But at least it's wrestling. It's something to watch. If you don't have the WWE Network, the WWE Network has decided to allow you can watch any WrestleMania event for free, and then there are certain other events that you can also watch for free instead of paying for an account. And lots of other wrestling promotions are releasing stuff for free on their own streaming services or live on YouTube, and then just like asking for donations and stuff. So there's wrestling out there to watch if you want it. Not a lot of live wrestling, but there is wrestling out there to consume. But we'll get going for now. We'll see what there is to report next week, how much news there actually is between now and then. But we'll be back live next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time for another edition of The War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. Excuse me, I had to burp there. With our roster, oh wait, I can't even do that because we're redesigning the site. Stay tuned to the Tag Me a Date social media for the site redesign news and updates at Tag Me a Date. Tag Me a Date, no spaces. It's all one word. You'll find our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, other stuff at Tag Me a Date. Just look for it and it'll pop up. Oh, YouTube is at Tag Me a Date as well. You go to youtube.com, type Tag Me a Date in the search bar, no spaces. You'll bring up the Tag Me a Date channel where you can subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications when we upload a video or when we go live. We go live Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we broadcast live on Twitch and YouTube.
And if we were up, we would not advise you to meet your potential match right now.
Yeah, you got to stay. You got to just,
escape it.
distance yourself.
Be
Yeah,
safe.
you
Be safe.
You can do video chats.
Stay home, like they say.
We live in the future. You can order your food online. You can talk to your friends on video chats and shit. Just fucking wash your hands and wash your ass, you dirty bastards. That's the best advice I can give you.
Before they drop a whole bunch of Lysol on the entire.
Yeah, they're just gonna drive big garbage trucks down the street and spray us all with Lysol from a fire hose or something. But anyway.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we're just gonna get doused. We have to stand out on the lawn and get sprayed as the government trucks go by. But we are not yet in that deep, dark future.
Or just drop aerosol bombs.
Keep saving your bottle caps because we could be heading into a Fallout-like apocalypse. But we'll see. Next week
we
we'll
don't talk about the caps.
Apocalypse. Yes, we won't talk about the caps. We'll keep you updated on the apocalypse and wrestling next week. Live on YouTube, live on Twitch, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yada yada at Tag Me Date. Oh, and if you like the audio only version, it is on Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And again, it's at Tag Me a Date or Tag Me a Date. Just look for it. You'll find our podcast. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and you will get the audio version delivered a day or two after the live video version. That's it for us. Just remember, follow us on social media. Come back next week, 7 p.m. on Eastern time. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Stay safe.